morning for me. That's a lot of coffee for me to be drinking any later than noon, so it's never stopped me. I digress. Hi, I'm Megan. This is the first of hopefully many, many videos. And I'm here to introduce myself and to chat, I guess, a little bit. So some quick information about me. Let's get through this because then we can get to the fun stuff. So, I am a runner. I say that not with hesitation because I don't believe it. I say it with hesitation because being athletic on any level, identifying as any sort of an athlete, was not a fun part of me growing up. I really didn't start working out consistently until I was like 22, and I moved out on my own for the first time and had nothing better to do with my time. And then I didn't start running really until actually around the same time, so 22, 23. I started jogging on the treadmill as part of my workout program. And then I didn't really think of myself as a runner until I was 20, probably around 25. I had just started dating my now husband, and he had done cross country in high school. And he's the one that really got me off the treadmill and outside because the idea of running on a treadmill made him, I think, nauseous just because he hated it so much. So if we were going to run together, it had to be outside. And I was very motivated by that. And then from that point, I think I spent the next 2 years dedicating a lot of my time and energy to trying to be a better runner. And I didn't do it right. And I know that now. I did a lot of things like I didn't fuel myself properly, like, period. I did a lot of fasted runs. What? I was doing over like an hour, hour and a half with no fuel. Also, what? I didn't get fitted for my first pair of sneakers until I was like 26. I was like a year and a half into running, so I'd been running in the same pair of sneakers on the treadmill and on the road for that amount of time, and I definitely logged more than my standard, what is now 300 miles in a pair of sneakers. It was not great. I didn't make a lot of good choices. And I think part of that was because I was very dedicated to the idea of running as a means to help me lose weight and get smaller, which I know that is something that a lot of other people struggle with, is that running has been marketed a lot in the past as being a weight loss tool. And I was very interested in losing weight. I think there's still probably a little part of me, this little gremlin part of my brain, that is also still interested in that, but that's more of like the environment that I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, and not necessarily something that I actively want for myself. Did you hear both of my elbows crack? Because they both cracked. But yeah, anyway, so that's a little bit of history on me. Let's see, I've raced a couple 5Ks. I've raced one 10K. I've ran that distance more than one time, but I've only raced one. And then currently my longest run to date is the 1 half marathon that I did in 2019. Yeah, no, that's still the farthest that I've run, which I'm okay with at this point in time. I'd like that to be a little bit different. I'd like that to be a little bit farther, but that kind of goes into the next part, which is the plan. So I haven't really, though, run consistently, honestly, since then. So I finished my half marathon. I didn't treat myself well. Ended up with a lot of runner tummy. Took a little while off after the half marathon because of it. Because it was the first time it happened, and I was a little gun shy. Yeah, and then I can't really think of. I think I tried to race a 10K in 2022. There's a lot of different reasons why from 2019 to 2022 I took time off. There was COVID. I planned a wedding. Wedding happened. I got married, and I also did grad school. So between like those four things happening, even though running was probably the most COVID friendly workout that I could do, so much else was happening during that time that I didn't have the time or the means to run. And then the last time I ran, it was supposed to be a 10K, and I DNF'd it. I tapped out at the half way mark, so I did a 5K. And actually, at the time of recording, that was my last run. That was over that was over 2 miles or 2.5. That was my last 5K. Was October 30th, 2022. So it's been a minute and a half. It's been a while. But I, like many, many people on the internet, I think, have started to have this resurgence of running and this desire to do it right this time. So while I'm moving forward in my running journey, I'm going to try and do things right, or what I perceive as right. What's right for me might not be right for somebody else, but I'm going to be prioritizing my nutrition and fueling myself, taking care of my body in other ways, making sure that I'm stretching, I'm doing strength training, my cross training is on point to help prevent injury, and then just running for the sake of running. And honestly, I think my biggest goal right now is to get my time and my distance up. I'm not too concerned about my pace. As long as I am fast enough to not get swept in any race that I do, that's fine by me. I mean, the unspoken goal is to not come in last in any race, but as long as I don't get swept, I will be content and happy. So that's going to be kind of my training threshold. At the time of recording, I have 8 goals for myself. They start at the smallest possible. We are starting at the smallest little baby base, and then they're going to build up to much longer races. So I will be doing more 5Ks, 10Ks, another half marathon, which I've picked out. And then there are a couple more races that I've also been eyeing for a while. And pretty much the one that I really, really want to do, I can't get into until at least 2026. So I have about a year and 3 or 4 months before that time. So I don't want to spill beans yet on what races I plan on doing. But what I want to do is start by focusing on building up my time again. Right now, I can't do 30 minutes straight. And while I think walking during a run is a really useful tool, I do want to build up my overall endurance and see if I can get to at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half, going super, super slow, like zone 1, easy pace almost, just to make sure that I can do the time. And then after that point, if I start having to walk and do intermissions like that, that's okay by me. But I do want to get back up into the habit of doing an hour and a half, I think is reasonable given how much time I'm giving myself to train. But right now, the only goal I'm focused on is 30 minutes. So I built myself a little training tool. Actually, I built myself 2. One is my goal tracker, which is just literally a large sheet of paper that I wrote all 8 goals on, and I rolled it up, flattened it out, so it's 8 different folds. And whenever I finish one, I get to reveal the next one. So right now, it just says 30 minutes because that's the only thing I'm worried about right now, is if I can run for 30 minutes. And then once I can do that, I'll reveal my next one. And then I also did a day-by-day planner. This was very intensive. I planned out literally every day for the next year and a half, pretty much, which seems very excessive, and it is very excessive. And I know that things come up, and I probably won't be able to hit every single box. I think the end result, though, is going to be that I really need to hit my long runs, which will be on Saturdays. I've built in 2 yoga days, which are my active recovery days. I'm not planning on doing a high intensity yoga workout, more of a, like I said, recovery, rehab, mobility Lots of like hip and lower body strength. 2 full body strength workouts. I'm lucky enough that right now I'm in an apartment where we have a gym, and I also have some dumbbells here that are lightweight, but for the first couple weeks, couple months, we'll probably get the job done if I don't want to go to the gym. I'm also lucky enough that I have treadmills at the gym, which I know I said I'm not a treadmill runner anymore, but training through the winter in New England is kind of a crapshoot, honestly. And having done it before, if it's nice out and the ice isn't too bad, I'd really like actually running in the winter, because I sweat and I overheat so fast and I get full tomato face. It's so bad. But if it's super gross, or if we get a blizzard and the roads aren't super clear, I would much rather walk to the gym and at least like my easy runs and stuff, do those on the treadmill. I'm going to try and avoid doing long runs on the treadmill because that sounds like death. But I have my individual goals with my little reveal, to remind myself that this is the only thing I'm worried about right now. So right now, the only thing I'm worried about is if I can run for 30 minutes. And then after that, I have a day-to-day breakdown, pretty much how I get to that goal. And assuming that I hit all my markers, I will be on track to do a couple races in the next year and a half. I will probably end up announcing what races I'm doing before I start that part of the training block. So like that very last race that I'm not going to talk about yet, but it's at the beginning of January. That's all I got right now to give you guys. But I will be probably announcing what it is when I sign up for it, not when I start that part of the training block, and that's my next goal. Just to give you guys a little sneak peek of kind of where we're going. But for right now, I don't have any races booked. I don't have anything beyond I need to get to 30 minutes. And that's where I'm starting. So I'm hoping that I can keep giving you guys weekly updates, let you guys know how my goals are doing, maybe do some like meal and nutrition check-ins, mainly because I know that sometimes what I eat in a day can be harmful for some people, but I think it might be helpful for me to track it. Just keeping in mind that everything, my training plan, my nutrition plan, things that I use for my own mental well-being, that's all just very me coded, and it's stuff that I have come to terms with over the last 8 years of being a runner. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I'm hoping that the next couple check-ins, the next couple vlogs is more than just me sitting here, because I'd love to get some footage out there on the trail, get some action shots, even if I am full tomato face during a run, and keep you guys in the loop. So thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you next week. Bye.